Money Live with Laura. I am your financial coach, Laura. I empower professional women of color to achieve their financial goals, stability, security, and begin their journey to generational wealth through financial coaching and personalized financial strategies. And today we are going to talk about your money mindset. So I'm going to wait a few seconds to see if anyone comes into the room. I'm going to grab a drink of water. Hello, hello, welcome, 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 welcome. So today we are talking about your money mindset and how it impacts your finances. If you see me kind of looking around, I have three different cameras for three different platforms going on here. So forgive me for that. So anyhow, like I said, we're talking about your money mindset and how it impacts your finances. So what is your first memory of money, right? Maybe your first memory of money was um, having a parent or a grandparent or maybe an auntie and an uncle, probably not a parent, like a grandparent, an auntie and an uncle, maybe somebody at the church, right? Putting a few coins or maybe $1 in your hand, right? When they see you at random. Or maybe, hi, welcome into the room. Maybe it was, today we're talking about your money mindset and how it impacts your finances. Maybe it was, um, you know, getting a couple of dollars in a birthday card, maybe, or in a holiday card, or maybe it was getting money underneath your pillow from like losing a tooth, right, from the tooth fairy. So then I want you to think about what did you spend that money on, or how did your parents react right when you got that money, right? Did they tell you to save it? Did they tell you, hey, you better go ahead and spend it? Like what were their thoughts as it pertained to that? And so the reason, hi, welcome, welcome. So today we are talking about your money mindset and how it impacts your finances. So maybe, like I said, maybe they told you that you had to save it for something special, or maybe they told you to go ahead and spend it, right? Because you didn't know when the next time you were going to get some money was, or I don't know, maybe they took it from you, right? And you didn't get to do anything with it whatsoever, right? And you eventually forgot about it, and maybe you spent it later on, or maybe you didn't, right? So, your money mindset and how you were introduced to money, how you heard money talked about when you were a child, all of those things, right, impact how you spend your money today. And I know that that might sound strange to you. I know you may be like, what? That doesn't even make sense. Like, I would something that happened to me as a child, right, as it pertains to money, have anything to do with how I spend my money today? And the reality of the situation is, hi, welcome, welcome. Thank you for joining us today. Hello, hello, hello. We are talking about money mindset and how that impacts your finances. So, hello, hello, hello. Gonna wave at everyone that's coming in. So the reason that that impacts, or the way that that impacts your finances, right, is what when you receive like random money, right? So it's unexpected money that you're not thinking about, that you weren't expecting to get, right? Are you quick to spend it because you're like, hey, I don't know if I'm ever gonna see this kind of money again, so I might as well go ahead and spend it now, right? Or do you think, you know what, let me save a little bit of it, maybe I'll invest a little bit of it, and then I'll spend a little bit of it, right? All of those things have to do with what your money mindset is, right? Is your money mindset one of lack, or is it one of abundance? Um, Hopefully, it is one of abundance and not one of lack, right? Because when you have a money mindset of lack, then you're constantly like, you know what, I may not see this money again, so I need to go ahead and do something with it, right? And if you were someone who grew up and experienced like food insecurity or housing insecurity, right? I've dealt with some clients that grew up experiencing both of those things. And we had to work through a lot of things, right? A lot of things on the money mindset, a lot of things as it pertains to finances, right? Because when you grow up experiencing things like food insecurity, then your thought process is, hey, I have this money now. Let me buy as much food as I possibly can. because I may be in a situation where I can't buy as much food later on, right? And unfortunately, what happens is you often end up wasting money because the food ends up going bad, or you end up giving food away, right? Because you don't have anywhere to store it, you don't have space left in your refrigerator, so on and so forth, right? All of these things have to do with your money mindset. And so that's why it's so important. Hi, welcome. Thank you for coming. Thank you for coming. That's why it's so important to address your hi, welcome, welcome, to address your money mindset and to make sure that you are shifting towards a money mindset of abundance, meaning I'm going to have more money coming in, right? I may not have the money right now, but more money is coming in, right? And I don't have to spend everything that I have, or I don't have to hoard it and like shove it underneath the mattress because, hey, it may never ever come back, right? So those are things that you need to be thinking about and considering. Like, seriously, take the time to think about how your money mindset, right, is impacting your finances. So let me give you a practical example, right? I'm sure all of us know people who get a refund check, right? And most people, hi, welcome, welcome into the room. Most people are super excited when they get a refund check. And the reality is, I don't understand why people are so excited. Really, you just gave a loan, right, to the government, interest-free loan. You let them borrow your money for over the year, right? And they're just giving you back the money that you let them borrow interest-free. So that's the first myth buster, right? That the government is giving you money. No, you gave them money. You let them borrow it all year long, and they're just giving it back to you, right? So it's just a It's just a refund. It's not. I mean, really, it is a refund, right? They're just returning something that you gave to them in the first place, right? But most people, when they get that money back, right, they're not thinking. They don't think. Most people don't think about their bills. They don't think about any debt that they have or anything like that. They don't think about their savings, right? Most people are like, "Ooh, what can I buy? I'm gonna go buy a new TV. I'm gonna buy a new set of rims for my car. I'm gonna buy a new stereo system for my car. I'm gonna buy. I'm gonna buy. I'm gonna buy." That's where most people's mindset is, right? Is I'm going to buy, right? Because they have a money mindset of lack versus abundance, right? Otherwise, they would, for one, maybe work out their paycheck so they got all their money, right? So that they wouldn't be getting a refund. Or if you are somebody who wants to have like a windfall of money, right? That's not necessarily a bad thing if that's your choice, right? Then they would decide to do things that are going to positively impact their financial future, right? Hey, I'm saving for a new house, right? Or I'm saving for a new car, or I'm saving for a wedding, or I'm saving for whatever, a new washing machine, or something that I've really wanted for an extended period of time, right? And sometimes when people buy whatever, right, it is because they wanted something really, really bad and now they have the money so that they go ahead and do it, right? But you need to, again, let's think about how our money mindset is actually impacting the way that we are spending our money. Hi, yes. Thank you for joining. Thank you for joining. And then that will, help you to be able to better use your financial resources, right? It'll make sure that you are not wasting money on things that you don't need to waste money on, right? Like I said, I had a client who had experienced food insecurity while they were growing up, and the amount of money that they were spending on groceries when we first started meeting, right? They were a small family. There was no way that they could eat the amount of food that they were spending on groceries on a monthly basis. But because they had a money mindset of lack and not one of abundance, then their thought process was, I have the money now, I need to go ahead and buy up all the food. And it was a mixture of the money mindset of lack as well as the food insecurities that they were dealing with, right? The memories of those, because they were no longer in a situation where they were dealing with food insecurities at all. They were no longer in a situation like that, right? They had all the financial resources that they needed. They were doing well, by and large with their finances. And so all they had to do was manage them appropriately and buy what they needed in the moment, right? So when you're out there and you're thinking like, oh, so that's another one, right? When I was younger, and this whole conversation, right, may be triggering for some people, and I don't want it to be triggering for you. Like, let me know if it's triggering for you from the perspective of, oh, yep, that was me. That used to be me, or that currently is me, right? Or I need to do some work on it, right? These are all things that, we all need to consistently work on, right? Money mindset is something that you're constantly working on. It's not something that like comes and goes and you're like, oh, you know what? I addressed my money mindset. I'm good. I'm in a mindset of abundance now. And so I'm good to go. And I don't have to worry about anything else anymore. Like, no, you may have things that trigger you along the way here and there, right? That circle you back. And you may have to be like, hi, welcome into the room. Thanks for joining. You may have to be like, okay, let me reassess things, right? And let me figure out what I need to do to get into a better place, right? When I was growing up, there was a thing called people who thought they were hood rich, right? So they maybe didn't live in the best of areas, right? But they had the nicest clothes, they had the nicest shoes, they drove the best cars, right? So the thought process was, let me look like I have money, right? Wherein I may not actually have money. Where the reality of the situation is, like, if you did an evaluation, right, on their like the overall cost of their clothes and the money that they were spending on like their clothes and stuff, right? You may, or their shoes or whatever, right? They may have been able to move out of an apartment into a home, right? Or they may have been able to, really live the life that they were trying to portray themselves as living, right? If they were spending their money appropriately, right? And so lifestyle creep, even now, right, is a way that people are quote unquote kind of like living hood rich, right? So they are, thank you so much for all the likes. I really appreciate it. I hope this content is valuable to you, right? So today we're talking about money mindset and how it's impacting your finances, right? So many people are like, oh, I want to live better, right? I want to be able to accomplish the things that I want to accomplish in life, right? I live in an apartment. I've always lived in an apartment. Everyone in my family lives in an apartment. I want to live in a house, right? Or I live in a house, but I really want to get my dream house, right? So are you living in an abundance mindset, right? Where I have all the resources that I need. I'm appropriately using my resources, right? So that I can move forward and do the things that I need to do, right? I know that money is coming in. And so as my money comes in, I'm doing the things that I need to do with it appropriately. Or are you, you know what? I want to look like I'm doing well. So I'm going to spend everything that I have and everything that I have coming in, right? So everybody thinks that I'm actually doing better than what I'm actually doing, right? That is a issue with money mindset. That is a poverty money mindset. When you think that you have to floss and flaunt and spend all this money to quote unquote keep up with the Joneses or have people think that you're living a certain way, right? When you're actually not living that way at all. And it all has to do with your mentality, right? It all has to do with your mindset, right? And a lot of that is things that we heard, right? Or things that we experience. Welcome, welcome, welcome into the room. Thanks for joining. Those all have to do with things that we experience and things that we heard, right, when we were a child. So let me ask you all this. And I'd love for you all to talk to me in the comments, right? How many of you have heard someone say, oh, I'm just hanging out with my broke best friend, when they were talking about hanging out with their child? Why? Why in the world would you refer to as your child as someone who is broke, right? Typically, when people use the reference broke, right, they are using it to mean like somebody who has nothing, right? Someone who has no money, someone who is, financially lacking in some way, right? And the reality is often, right, people aren't really broke like they say, right? They are just in between money, right? Money is still coming in. They just are lower on funds, right? Than perhaps they were initially, right? Perhaps they were, previously, right? But they're not really broke. And why would you say that about your child, right? Of course, most children, right, are not working depending on the age of the child, right? So therefore, they don't have income coming in. But to call your child broke, right, and to put that, like, that is going to be part of their money mindset. Like, especially if they consistently hear you say it repeatedly over and over again, right, then they're going to grow up thinking, right, I'm broke. And it's going to be one of those, what do they call it? Like a subliminal message, right? It's going to be something that is like in the back of their mind, right? That their subconscious right, is going to remember mom and dad constantly referred to me as broke. Mom and dad said that I was their broke best friend, right? So we need to be conscious of the things that we're saying, right, about our children, as well as things that we're saying about ourselves, right? How many times have you said yourself, you know what, I'm broke because you were in between paychecks, right? Or because money wasn't flowing quite the way that you wanted it to flow, right? That's a money mindset thing, right? Broke is a state of mind, not necessarily a state of being, right? Or how many people, right, have said, "Oh, I'm poor," right? When you honestly lived in a house, had all the food that you needed to have, right? Had a vehicle that worked and you could drive, right? Those are not things that are synonymous with someone who's actually quote unquote poor, right? But people still use those terms. Excuse me. No, Brandon, you are not broke. That is a mindset thing. You're not broke. Why are you not broke? Well, right now you have either a cell phone or you have a laptop, a computer of some sort, right? You have access to internet, a cell phone, a computer, all of those things cost money. Now, you may not have as much money as you used to have. You may not have as much money as you want to have. Those may be factual statements, right? But the fact that to say that you're broke is an incorrect statement because you currently have resources. You currently have financial resources that you are using, right, to better your life, to the betterment of yourself. One of those things is you're using it for internet, right? Internet, by and large, unless you're using the internet for your job, right? Which I'm using it for right now, right? A lot of people use the internet for entertainment, right? So if you can have money for entertainment, by no means are you broke. You're just not. That's a money mindset issue. Now, it may be a factual statement to say, you know what, my money is on the way. It's not here yet. I'm with you. There's more money out there for you and for me and for everyone else that is out in here, right? That has not come to us yet, right? That we have that has yet to arrive. But that does not make you broke. It doesn't make anyone else broke, right? That their money is on the way and it just has not arrived yet. So don't use those terms, right? And the reason why I tell you not to use those terms is because those are things that get into your head, right? The more you say it out of your mouth, and even typing it, right, means that you are thinking it in your mind, right? The more you say it, the more you write it down, the more you text it to people, to friends, and so on and so forth, the more you're, oh, I just say it jokingly, right? The more you're thinking about it and the more you're going to internalize it, right? And you don't need to be internalizing poverty money mindset. That's not what you want. What you want is an abundance money mindset. The things that you say to yourself and the things that you say to other people about yourself, right? The things that you say out loud all impact how you're constantly thinking about yourself. They impact how you address things across, right, your life. They all impact how you spend your money, how how you do everything with your money, right? So spend, save, invest, so on and so forth. People who have a quote unquote broke money mindset, when they get money, they spend money immediately because they don't know when they're going to get more money, right? So whether their bills are paid, right? Oh, I see a new pair of shoes and I really wanted a new pair of shoes. So I'm going to just go ahead and get this pair of shoes. But you had bills that needed to be paid. Or you said that you wanted a new car because you know your car is on the last leg. But you decided to go buy these shoes or whatever else, right? Whatever your vice is, whatever your thing is, right? Versus doing this other thing because in your mind, I'm never going to have this money again. So I might as well go ahead and get rid of it, right? I might as well do something fun with it right now because I'm never going to have it again. That's a poverty money mindset. I am bad to blow money. See, okay, so the first thing I love that that you know, kind of blow to your using your words, you blow money. You're bad at blowing money. So this is my question for you. What's important to you, right? Is it more important to you to have whatever you feel like you're blowing money on right now? Or is it more important to you to have whatever that other thing is, right? So maybe you've said, you know what? I want a house if you don't live in a house presently, or I want a car, or I want to travel the world, or I want to have investments, right? I want to save more money, right? I want to make sure that my family is financially secure. Whatever that thing is, right? That you've said, is it more important to you to just spend the money now, right? Or to have those other things? And this is not me saying you can never spend money, right? You can never financially indulge, right? You can never have those frivolous things that you want to have. Absolutely. Have some of those times, right? Have some of those things. Spend, some money to have a good time sometimes, right? But make sure you're also taking care of those financial goals. And remember, just because you have money now doesn't mean the money is never coming back, right? I really think that if you were to sit down and do some work with your money mindset, which is something that I could work with you with, Brandon, then I feel like you would be in a better position, right? And you wouldn't just blow your money using your words, right? As often as you might be doing at this point now, right? We would be able to make sure that you had some money that you could spend, right? But you were taking care of all the rest of your financial obligations, including saving and building up your money, right? So that you would be able to do the things that you wanted to do with that money. But I love the fact that you know that about yourself, right? That's the first step, is admitting, you know what, I have a problem. Like, that's the whole deal. A lot of people, and then your money mindset is also attached to and impacted by like your emotions, right? If you're a person who, like, there are people who are emotional eaters. I won't lie, that typically tends to be me, right? And I'm working on that right now, even enough myself, right? But there are also some people who are emotional spenders, right? So if something happens, they're going to go out and spend money, whether they have the money or whether they don't, right? And it's a money mindset thing, right? Because they feel something in their mind, something in their past, right, has told them, well, if something's going wrong, I'm going to feel better if I spend money. Doesn't matter about what their finances actually look like, right? They think if I just spend money, it's going to make me feel better. So let me go out here. Hi, welcome, welcome. Let me go out here and spend this money, right? And then I'm going to feel better. I'm going to be in a better place. When the reality is, they don't, right? Because when you see people who are emotional spenders, right, they don't have one bag. Because if spending money was going to make them feel better, they would make one purchase and they'd be done. They normally have like 3 bags, 6 bags. Like, they have a whole huge shopping spree, right? You see all the stuff that they've purchased and then they run down everything that they've bought, right? Because actually spending didn't make them feel better the way they thought they did, right? Because it was all a money mindset issue in the first place. It didn't have anything to do with feeling better because they actually spent those funds, right? So the takeaways that I want you to really have from this conversation, right, is to work on your money mindset. Really address, do I have an abundance money mindset or do I have a lack money mindset? And what do I mean by those two things, right? So lack is going to be, I may not see money again, so I got to do whatever I got to do with this money right now, right? Because it may not be coming. Or the thought process of I'm broke. Or when you say to yourself, I'm never gonna get out of debt. I hear people say all the time, especially about student loans. I have these student loans till I die, right? Some people, uh, college, I'm assuming that means college. College is taking all of your money. College is an expensive thing. It is. But also, make sure that you are, even in college, make sure that you are appropriately spending your money correctly, right? So I have a whole discussion that I do, especially as it pertains to college students, right? To make sure that, like, as you're getting in, if you get, you know, student loans and so on and so forth, or if you're getting scholarships and stuff, right? Make sure you're using that money effectively for the things that you actually need, right? And make sure that you're not in a position where you're like, oh, I'm balling out. I don't have to, like, thinking that, especially if it's student loans, right? Student loans have to be paid back. We hear people talking about them every day, right? And but there, I remember when I was in college, people got their refund checks and they were like, oh, balling, new hair, new shoes, new clothes, whole new wardrobe, right? We just got to school. You just came to school with a whole new wardrobe. Why do you need another new wardrobe and you've been in school for a month because you got your student loan check, right? That's a poverty money mindset. I got this money and I may never see money like this again. So let me go ahead and spend it and do whatever I need to do, right? Now, on the flip side of things, if you're saying, college is taking all my money because you're spending, hi, welcome, thank you for joining us, because you are spending, like I've spent all my money on my books, I've spent money on tuition, I'm making sure that I can eat on a daily basis. Like if the necessities, right, or the things that you need are the things that you're spending your money on, that is a different story, right? We may need to look at your budgeting some, right, and see if you are appropriately budgeting the resources that you have for college, right? But that could be a different story. But the fact that you said before that you blow your money, that makes me think that maybe you are balling out just a little, right? And like I said, that could certainly be a money mindset issue. It's something that we could work together. You need help saving. Yes, please hit me up in my DM. I can definitely help you. I will try to reach out to you after this live so that we can chat as well. But yes, follow. If you have not followed me yet, please definitely do so. Because, like I said, these are all money mindset issues, right? Maybe a little bit of budgeting issues as well, but certainly things that are like fixable, right? None of the things that you've said thus far are not things that can easily be fixed, right? Um, Things that we could get to the root issue of what your money mindset issues are, right? Work through those things and get you in a better place so that you have an abundance money mindset. And talking about abundance money mindset, let's review that, right? So that it's money is coming in, right? I can spend my money wisely. I can save. I can invest. I can do all the things that I need to do, right, with my finances, and my money is going to continue to grow. Even in the moments, right, when your money is on pause, or maybe it's not coming as rapid, right, as you would like for it to be, constantly being in the headspace and talking to yourself and telling yourself, right, my money is on the way. Not saying I'm broke, I'm never going to be able to afford this, I'm never going to be able to, pay off that. Never making those statements, right? Because those are temporary issues, right? That doesn't mean that that's where you're forever going to be. And it doesn't really mean that that's where you are, right? And having an abundance mindset is knowing that while my finances may not be right where I want them to be in this present moment, that does not mean that they cannot be where they need to be, right? That does not mean that they will not be where they need to be, right? It just means that temporarily, right, they're not where I want them to be. So I appreciate your time. Thank you to everyone who has joined the live. I really appreciate it. Thank you for all the love and all the hearts and likes and everything. I really appreciate it. Thank you, Brandon, for okay, thank you for all the comments. I really appreciate it. Like I said, please reach out to me. Again, for those of you who don't know me, I am Laura, a financial coach. I empower professional women of color to achieve their financial goals, stability, and security, and build their journey to generational wealth through financial coaching and personalized financial strategies. While women of color is my demographic, right? I can work with people who do not fit within the demographic of women of color. So do not hesitate to reach out to me. Thank you for joining. I really appreciate it. Again, think about your money mindset. You want to transfer from being in the mindset of lack to being in the mindset of abundance. You can have everything that it is that you desire financially. You just have to shift your money mindset from saying I can't, right, to I can, or I don't have it, or I'm broke and things like that. Let's stop saying that. Can we let that be part of the cancel culture, right? Let's cancel saying I'm broke. Let's cancel saying I'm hanging out with my broke best friend. Let's cancel all the negativity, right, and move to the positivity, right? I have a child and she presently does not have a job. Well, she does. She works for me intermittently, right? But she also has income, right? Because she works for me intermittently. But I'm never going to refer to her as my broke best friend, even if she's not working, right? Because I don't want to put that in her mind that when she doesn't have money or when she has less money, right, than she would like to have, that she's quote unquote broke. Because that's not her reality. And that's not the reality of you and your children either. They may not be currently employed, right? Because they're children, but that does not make them broke. They may not be bringing in money, but that does not make them broke, right? And even when you're speaking about yourself, while you may not have the money that you want to have, right? Your finances may not be where you would like for them to be. That does not necessarily mean that you are broke. Stop saying that to yourself. Thank you, everyone, for joining. I really, really appreciate it. And I look forward to seeing you next Monday at 11:30 Central Time, 12:30 Eastern Standard Time for Lunch Money Live with Laura. Thank you. Have a great one. And this and that and this. Use likes, use comments.
Susie, yes. Here is December.